Welcome to another Guerrilla Sports Off Court, a post-game live reaction show. I am your host, Liv Moods, and we are going to break down the Nuggets home game against the Pelicans. They did win this one, so hopefully this show is a little bit more positive. We don't have to vent and rant as much. And this is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. So head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in. The Nuggets got a win tonight at home. Thank goodness. But let's not forget, there are still some things that we saw in their road stretch. They were 2-3 on the road in their 5-game road stretch. Lost some games they really had no business losing, and it definitely felt pretty defeating in that week. I will be completely honest with you. I saw one of the comments on YouTube in one of my most recent videos that said, Liv is so hard to please, and I really am. I think I hold people to very high expectations, but if you ask any of my friends or family members, I'm also that way in real life. So it's not just the Nuggets or the Broncos that feel the wrath of Liv Moods sometimes. I think it's everybody, but I also expect that in return. I expect the people in my life, you guys watching the show, to hold me accountable all the time for things where, I get things wrong or I'm a little too emotional or whatever it may be. So I absolutely do hold this Nuggets team to a high standard. I was pretty disappointed in their performance on the road, but it does feel good to see them back at home and defending home court. They won 125-113 in this one, and I saw some pretty good performances across the board here. I want to talk very specifically about one guy. And I think the conversation I'm going to have about this one guy is going to kind of shed some light on one of my largest concerns with this Denver Nuggets team. And you're probably sitting there thinking, Liv, of course it's defense. Of course it's Jamal Murray. And really, it's actually not. The main thing that I think concerns me about this Nuggets team being a true contender is their inconsistency. There is no guarantee that we get an MPJ that is lighting it up from the three-point line or showing offensive consistency in a seven-game series against OKC or the Lakers even. So it's the inconsistencies that are really what stress me out the most about this Nuggets team, because when we see this Nuggets team play ball the right way, they're great. There's a lot of NBA teams in the league that can't say the same. Even when everybody is playing at their highest level, they're still not contenders. When this Nuggets team plays at their highest level, they absolutely are contenders. So it's not their talent or their skill that concerns me. It's the inconsistencies. It's whether or not we will get an MPJ that drops 36 points, 7 rebounds, 7 of 12 from the three-point line. That's what concerns me. How often will we get that version of him? How often will we get a pretty complete stat line from Jamal Murray, 25 and 8? How often do we see this team consistently at their peak? And that's the part right now that I think draws the most concern. It's not, can they do it? It's, can they show up? Or will they show up? I know they can. It's a matter of whether they will or not. And I will say, I'm going to give a little bit of credit where it's due, in the sense that there have been quite a few injuries that this Nuggets team has dealt with this season. And it's no excuse. Every NBA team deals with injuries to their starting lineup. No Peyton Watson for about 4 weeks. He's going to be reevaluated. I will say, it does feel like a blessing that we have the All-Star break where he can really rest his body in rehab and hopefully get back on the floor with these guys, because we know he does bring some defensive upside to this team. That being said, we've got Russell Westbrook, who has now been out for a couple of games with some hamstring stuff. We had Aaron Gordon that missed a majority of the first chunk of their season. We had Jamal Murray out early. We had Nikola Jokic sick for a stretch and then dealing with his newborn baby. So there's been a lot of inconsistencies in the starting lineup itself, whether that be decisions that Coach Malone makes in terms of who's working best in the starting lineup, who's available for the starting lineup. And it is hard to build continuity in a starting 5 that's already kind of new in so many ways with the addition of Russell Westbrook and CB being a starter. It's already new. And then you also add in the fact that there's been some inconsistencies as to who's been available for this team. That does make it a little bit more difficult. Again, it is not an excuse, and I will never make it sound like one. This Nuggets team is fully capable of showing up with or without Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon. And yes, those players make a difference. I know for a fact Nikola Jokic makes a huge difference. But we've had some very unique starting lineups tonight. Zeke Naji, actually, a starter, 12, 5, and 0 in this game, 2 of 4 from 3, 1 block, 1 turnover. He did have 5 fouls. I'm not entire. It's hard because I wasn't overly impressed. Did Zeke Naji play to the caliber of his contract? Well, no. His contract is a little outrageous in my opinion, and I've felt that way for some time now. That being said, it could have been a lot worse. And I do actually like seeing him be used, so it doesn't feel like we're just putting money in the toilet and flushing it. So it was interesting to see him in the starting lineup. I will say, I think when we see Jamal Murray out of his comfort zone a little bit, you do see him step into that facilitation mode, especially without Russell Westbrook. And I actually really like that version of Jamal Murray. I like it when Jamal Murray's playing selfless basketball. I like it when he prioritizes facilitating. I think it gives MPJ more opportunities to build his confidence and to continue to hopefully get more consistent in his offensive game. It helps Nikola Jokic out where he can prioritize scoring and attacking the glass and boxing out and getting rebounds. That is something that we need from Nikola Jokic pretty consistently. CB 0 of 4 from the 3, but it does not take away from what CB has been bringing to the table lately. I'm very impressed with him. 1 steal in this game for him. Julian Strawther with 15 off the bench. We're going to need more of that all season long. Whether it's 15 points, 25 points, 10 points, there has to be some type of offensive impact coming off of the bench, and we were able to see that with him tonight. We did not have Aaron Gordon as well. So like I said, kind of hard to build continuity within this team when so many guys have been in and out with their availability. This comment here says, this means we keep MPJ, Olivia. What about Zeke? Zeke's contract is extremely frustrating to me. It hasn't made sense for quite some time. But again, that is not my decision to make. I did talk on my off-court show earlier today that I feel like the Nuggets do need to make a trade. At the end of the day, as much as I love seeing this 36-point performance from MPJ, how often do we actually see that? How often do we actually get MPJ showing up and giving his best effort and making an impact offensively? I have said for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, with all the trade rumors swirling MPJ's head, that if you're going to replace MPJ, it has to be an upgrade. You have to find someone with his size that knows how to shoot well, because that's what the Nuggets need. There's nights where MPJ doesn't even shoot well. He's been pretty inconsistent, especially in those 5 games on the road. I was not thrilled with what MPJ was bringing to the table offensively. And honestly, his defensive effort was part of my frustrations as well. So we've seen a lot of inconsistency from him. But then you get nights like tonight with 36 points where you're like, yeah, we need that. That's absolutely crucial to the success of this team. But again, how often are we getting that from MPJ? And that's probably what concerns me the most, is there is a lot of inconsistency. That being said, there's 3 days until the trade deadline, and I don't trust our front office wholeheartedly to believe that they're going to make the right decision. They don't have a great track record of making the right decision when it comes to contracts and trades. So I don't really trust them to make a last second, oh my gosh, the Mavericks and the Lakers have made all these changes, now we've got to be in panic mode. I don't really trust them to do that, to be honest with you. So I'm not sure I want to make a trade with 3 days left, when I think there have been plenty of opportunities for the Nuggets to entertain conversations around trades, and it doesn't seem like they've been taking any of them super seriously. That being said, we did not hear anything about Luka or Anthony Davis, and then boom, before you know it, woo, there it was. The benefit of seeing MPJ with a 36-point performance is you do acknowledge that he is your last tradable piece. You do acknowledge you've got 3 days left, and his trade value just went up a little bit. I said on the show earlier today, do teams even look at MPJ as something that they want? I know he's got the size, and that's something that sets him apart from a lot of guys in his position. He can shoot well. He can light it up from the 3-point line, 7 of 12 tonight. So a game like tonight, his trade value does go up. So it does maybe potentially give the Nuggets a little bit more opportunity to see what you can get for him. That being said, what do you get for him? Who is available that is better than what we've got? And that's kind of the predicament that I think the Denver Nuggets are in. I think they were farting around a little too much, taking their sweet old time, weren't entertaining the right conversations as it pertained to trades, and now kind of feels like we're out of time. And making a move right now feels like it would be a little too forced. And I don't know if it's the right answer. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. I don't know if it really makes sense. So that's kind of where we're at on the Denver Nuggets making a trade. It kind of, in my opinion, feels like a day late and a dollar short. I don't know how many people want to acquire the Zeke Naji contract and how many people are really that interested in Michael Porter Jr. based on what they've seen over the last month. You know, he did have a great performance tonight, which you could argue his trade value goes up a little bit in that sense, but there's also been a lot of inconsistencies. The same concerns that I have for Michael Porter Jr.'s game, I would imagine other teams would also have with MPJ's game. So I don't know. I just don't think the Nuggets are in a position to be playing chess. I don't think anybody wants to play chess with the Denver Nuggets right now. I'm not sure if we offer enough for teams to be interested in a Michael Porter Jr. And we know that's kind of our most valuable tradable piece right now that could really add some depth, maybe get a 3-and-D guy, get some backup for Nikola Jokic. But I just don't know if MPJ's value is high enough for other teams to be seeking him out, if that makes sense. Hi, Liv. So glad you are feeling better. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself, you guys. There's so many little like bugs and critters flying around. We had influenza A in this house this most recent week, and it was not to be underestimated. It was not easy. It's also not hard. It's very hard to be not feeling good yourself and also trying to take care of other people. But that's just who I am. I can't help it. Yeah, it was not a great week, but all good. We're healthy. We got really hydrated. We got some good rest. So I appreciate, Anthony, you being so sweet and making sure I'm doing okay. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's see. We've got some comments here that I want to pop up on the screen. Don't believe anybody is fooled to trade for Zeke at this point. Might as well ride it out and play better perimeter defense on threes. Good God. Yeah. I really do think that at this point in time, with 3 days left until the deadline, the Nuggets are going to have to ride this out. And what frustrates me is I still believe with the team that they've got that they can be a contender. I really believe that. And I know that probably sounds crazy to some of you because you're like, Liv, the inconsistencies have been on full display. You yourself, Liv, have been very, very frustrated. And I understand that. And yes, I absolutely have. But my frustrations almost always stem from just effort. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over again, but it really does feel like so many of the Denver Nuggets issues are preventable. Like I said, there are some teams in the NBA that even when they're all playing at their peak, they're still not good enough to be a contender. When the Nuggets all play at their peak, there's no question that they're contenders. That's why it's so frustrating so many times when I watch this Nuggets team play, because they absolutely have the talent. They have what it takes. I think this is a team that when they really put their heads down and stay focused, they can really be dangerous. Now, the problem is we are we're quickly approaching the All-Star break. And we know following the All-Star break, a lot of teams are going to start to go full throttle mode. They're going to really start to put their heads down, get focused, lock in, and really set their sights on fighting for that number 1 seed in their conference or pushing their way into the playoffs. And so as we start to see these teams push harder and harder and harder, the Nuggets competition is just going to get tougher. So they've got to be prepared mentally and physically for what the games look like following the All-Star break. I will say obviously there's some concern with personally that I have about the status of these teams and how healthy or not healthy these bodies are. You really want to, you hate to see Aaron Gordon not playing still. And I get it. It looks like his calf, it's injury management more than anything else, which is very important. And I'm not mad about that because he has played more minutes over the last couple of games. So better to play it safe, especially against a team like the Pelicans where you can win that game, although they didn't earlier this season without Nikola Jokic, and they absolutely should have. This is a winnable game with or without Aaron Gordon, and so it is important to manage that calf injury and make sure that he's taking his time getting back into it so that you have him in full health in the later part of the season, as well as the potential playoffs if the Nuggets are so lucky. But Peyton Watson's out. We know he brings a certain spark and energy off of the bench with that second unit, especially in a defensive perspective. And Russell Westbrook's been out. And we know that him and Jokic have kind of been building this continuity and this chemistry that kind of seems untouchable when they're both on. It's really, really been fun to watch. And he's now been out for a couple of games. So not sure how long we can anticipate him not being available. I think Aaron Gordon is just going to be a day-to-day, game-to-game, week-to-week situation. Again, just preserving his body. But I don't know. It's going to be tough for this Nuggets team. If the Nuggets on this 5-game road stretch continued on the heater that they were on in that 15-game stretch, I would feel not entirely worried about who's available and who's not. But right now, they're still in the phase of trying to build that continuity and figure out their identity. So when you don't have players available, it makes it a little bit more difficult to do that. Westbrook will be horrid in the playoffs with his untimely turnovers. I mean, yeah, if he has turnovers, it's not going to be great, but I don't think it's fair to just call attention to Russell Westbrook's turnovers when Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic have a fair share of turnovers themselves this season. So not entirely sure that should be directed at just Russell Westbrook, unless you're a Russell Westbrook hater, in which case it makes total sense why it's directed in his direction right now. But I think there's plenty of players on the Denver Nuggets that need to tidy up their turnovers a little bit because it does feel like that seems to be a pretty common problem on this team, and I don't think it's just Russell Westbrook that is the issue in that regard. Okay, let's get some more comments up on the screen. Najee playing confident and aggressive is such a plus. Yes, I was talking a little bit earlier. I'm not sure if you just joined, but I was talking a little bit earlier about the fact that I can probably sleep a little more peaceful tonight knowing that I got to see some of Najee's contract in full effect. I mean, his contract is just such a very confusing and frustrating thing for me to wrap my head around. And so to see him out there and playing confident basketball is definitely a plus. Now, once Russell Westbrook, Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon are all healthy, I doubt we'll see much of him. So his contract still in so many ways feels like a waste. But it was good to see him out there and see that maybe, just maybe, there was something that the Nuggets were seeing in him that we were not, and that's what warranted them to pay him and extend him with this team. I'm still not sure he's worth what we paid, but it was good to see him out there and actually see some of that contract being utilized. Okay, let's get some more of these comments. This upcoming schedule should help with Zeke's confidence. Yeah, I think if you want to look at the positives of our starting lineup being riddled with injuries is that it is giving that second unit some opportunities at some good minutes. We saw some good moments from Jalen Pickett earlier this season. I believe it was in the stretch where Jokic may have been in and out of some games and Aaron Gordon as well. And one of those games was against the Phoenix Suns. And Jalen Pickett was defensive player of the game that game and was also lighting it up from the 3-point line. And I remember thinking to myself, it would be really great to see him out there more, but the Nuggets don't have comfortable enough leads in the fourth quarter to allow these second unit guys to get out on the floor and get valuable minutes under their belt. So that is the plus, I guess, of us having some injuries throughout our starting lineup is it's giving our second unit more opportunities at playing valuable minutes and showing some promise and hopefully building some confidence for themselves, because I do think that is a lot of the game of basketball is confidence. And so the more that we can build up that confidence in our second unit, I think the better off we'll be. How do you think we fare against the new Dallas Mavs live? Listen, you guys, this trade, I think I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. It still feels pretty shocking, and I've had a couple of days to digest it and talk about it, and it still feels pretty shocking to me how this all went down. I don't know how confident I feel talking about whether or not this trade was good or bad for the Dallas Mavericks. I'm still trying to figure that out because, as we know, Luka has been out this season with injury, and it's kind of forced the team to find their offensive identity without him. So, in so many ways, they're kind of prepared to see what life is like without Luka because he's only played 20 something games this season because he's been injured. So I don't know. I'm not confident enough to say how I feel about this trade and whether or not it benefits or hurts either team just yet. I definitely think the Lakers won the trade if I'm looking at comparisons here. But oh my gosh, sorry. I just saw a notification about trades and it said Denver and I was like, "What?" Um Never mind. It was nothing. It was talking about OKC's trade and they get Denver's 2030 second round draft pick from Charlotte. Sorry. That was really random, but I was a little scared that there was something going on. I'm kind of more thinking in this regard where I'm like, okay, how could this trade between Luka and the Lakers benefit the Nuggets down the road? Is there a world where the Nuggets could take advantage of this trade? Maybe not right now, but maybe it's something that we could entertain down the road. That's the kind of lens that I'm trying to look through this trade through because the Nuggets, it's no secret that the Nuggets need some help. It needs some help for sure. And I think one of the things that the Denver Nuggets don't do a very great job at is the front office in terms of building the roster that can win a championship. I think sometimes this team focuses more on loyalty than it does the business side of this league. And I don't know, is this a way of the Mavericks kind of showing a strong arm and showing that they mean business? Maybe it is. I do think we have a diva mentality that's pretty contagious throughout the league where players want to go where they want to go. What's sad is that Luka should have never been the scapegoat for that because he has been extremely loyal to Dallas. He just bought a home in Dallas. This is a place where he very clearly thought he was going to be for the foreseeable future. So you hate to see it happen to a guy like Luka, but hell, if it means Luka goes somewhere else and wins a championship, I hate that it would potentially be with the Lakers, but I would love that for Luka Doncic. So, is there a world where the Denver Nuggets could benefit from this trade down the road? My fingers are crossed. I certainly hope so. There we go. See, now that's good stuff. Lakers aren't winning anything for the next 2 years, then Luka is coming to play with his BFF. Could we see Jamal Murray as a Laker? That would kind of be the plot twist of the century. Jamal Murray cooks against the Lakers and then becomes one. I don't know. You'd have to probably give up a little bit more. Actually, no. They traded Luka for less than they traded Mikal Bridges, which does not make sense to me. Still trying to figure that out as well. There's a world. If Luka ends up in Denver in the next 2 years, I would be a very happy person for sure. I would be very excited about that. Very. I would still want Russ, Jokic. I mean, yeah, you'd be able to. I would like that a lot. I think that would be a great thing for Denver in the long haul. I mean, full transparency, Marco, you just sound like a straight up hater in the chat. Okay. This just in, we have Guerrilla Sports is already posting post-game presser clips, and Coach Malone said in his post-game presser tonight, we are not trading Michael Porter Jr. There you have it, folks. That being said, there are probably 0 moves that this Nuggets team is going to make before February 6th. If it's not Michael Porter Jr., then it's nobody. He just said, we are not trading Michael Porter Jr. Okay. Well, there you have it. There you have it. There is not a trade coming to Denver. All right. Yep, just got that. He is not being traded. He's here to stay. All right. All right, all right, all right. There we go. Listen, it's tough because I have said many times that unless you can get an upgrade for Michael Porter Jr., don't trade him. I've been frustrated by his consistencies as of late. However, I'm just not sure that one, Michael Porter Jr. really appeals to any teams right now. And two, I don't know if there's anyone available that is an upgrade in place of Michael Porter Jr. So it's not entirely surprising to hear Coach Malone say that with 3 days left. Does it feel a little disappointing that the Nuggets didn't make any moves ahead of the trade deadline? Yeah, a little bit, because I do think that there are changes that need to be made. That being said, when this team plays the game that they know and are fully capable to play, they are contenders. When they just don't show up and just don't seem to care really, that's when there's frustration. So long as the Denver Nuggets are prepared and willing to show up and play the game that they know how to play, I'm not really worried about it. But it doesn't feel like we're going to get that from them on a consistent basis. And that's what's frustrating. Tony here says this team is a contender. Just got to tighten up that defense on open threes. Oh my God, the perimeter defense. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. It's definitely something that they need to improve upon. Okay, you guys, I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be live here. I am headed out tomorrow, actually, to New Orleans for the Super Bowl, but we will be bringing you an off-court episode while we're out there. So if you're like, well, Liv, the Nuggets are still playing this week, you're right. And I will make sure that you guys are covered on all things content while I'm out there. This comment here says, I just wish they could all be healthy at the same time for once. Yes, I did say that at the top of the show, that it's not an excuse for their poor playing. It's not an excuse at all, but there is an element of the Denver Nuggets struggles this season that feel like there's been a lack of continuity with a solid starting five, because the starting five has looked different every week. It is not an excuse. I'm not excusing their poor performances in the games that they have lost, because a lot of those losses were pretty blatantly just a lack of effort. But I do think it is difficult at this point in the season to solidify that continuity and solidify your identity when your starting lineup looks different every single week. It's a very difficult thing to do. So, oh my gosh, don't ever ask me this question again. Don't ever ask me this question again. Are you kidding? The answer is absolutely not. The answer is absolutely not. As much as I love LeBron James, he's getting old. No, I would never do that, ever. And I don't think the Nuggets would ever do that either. But what do I know? The front office and I are clearly not on the same page. So, definitely missing Westbrook's energy and hustle. Absolutely. I mean, from jump, Westbrook increases the pace of this Nuggets game, the way that they play. And it's definitely pretty obvious when he's not out there. So the Nuggets have got to figure that out for sure. We can't keep these slow starts, man. I'm okay with a slow start if you finish with some pace. But they don't do that either. They start slow, they end slow. And it's like, ay. Like, I cannot keep hanging on to the hope that in the third quarter, you're going to figure it out and you're going to be a great basketball team. I just can't keep playing this game. Again, it's all based on inconsistencies with this team. So anyway, you guys, that's kind of all I've got. I'm feeling, kind of numb right now to the Denver Nuggets in the sense that I'm happy with them getting a win and defending home court. And I saw some things that I really liked tonight, but I'm kind of holding my breath. I'm kind of sitting on the edge of my seat like, I don't even want to get excited about a 30-plus performance from MPJ. I really don't, because I don't know what we're going to get from him next game. So there's elements of this game for them where I'm pleased. I don't want you guys to think that I'm hard to please, although I am. I am very hard to please, but I am happy with this win, and I did see things that I really liked. But you guys agree with me in the comments for the most part that it's hard when you've got so many players that are injured and unavailable right now, because we just don't know what this team in full strength even looks like anymore. 15 games there, they were looking really, really solid. You had Aaron Gordon coming off the bench here and there. They were just doing a really great job. And then they fell off. For what reason, I don't know. It was very frustrating to watch, but they did fall off, and then it kind of made everybody question things. So either way, hoping that this is steps in the right direction. They continue to defend home court. They continue to build on what we're seeing. Saw some really great facilitation from Jamal Murray. I want him to continue that with or without Russell Westbrook. MPJ, have to see more consistency from him and effort defensively, but consistency offensively. Of course, want more effort defensively from Nikola Jokic as well. And I just think when you've got full effort from these guys, they really, truly are contenders. But the effort thing is completely out of our control. It's really up to them. So hopefully following the All-Star break, while other teams are like physically pushing themselves harder, this Nuggets team is mentally clocking in a little bit more. That is my hope. And if they can do that, I feel pretty confident about what they've got up their sleeves and what they're capable of this season. So my fingers and my toes are crossed. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. This was a shorter episode. I know that we have the post-game presser clips already going out on social media. We didn't have them available for the show today, but we do already have them going up on socials. If you want to watch the full post-game presser clips, you can go to the Guerrilla Sports YouTube and check those out. They will be, as soon as the coach or the player is done talking, they will be uploaded to our YouTube. So make sure you're following us and subscribe to us there so you can check out all things Denver Nuggets, post-game presser conversations, and all that. I will tell you the quote here. We're not trading Michael Porter, so I'm not touching base with anybody on that. To my knowledge, there have been no conversations. That is what Coach Malone said in regards to MPJ and the trade rumors that are constantly swirling around him. So sounds like there are probably no trades happening before February 6th for the Denver Nuggets, which means, Nuggets, this is what you've got. You either make it work or you don't. And that's all. Okay. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I will be all over social media, keeping you guys posted on all things Super Bowl, as well as doing my best to also keep you posted on all things NBA while I'm out there. So make sure you're following me on all things socials at Liv Moods. Pretty self-explanatory here. And yeah, we'll catch you guys very soon. We'll be filming an off-court episode this week. I will keep you guys posted as to when that's going up and going live. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Much love. This is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money by lowering your monthly payment, getting you a better interest rate. They are literally designed to help you save some money. So check them out at trustedamerican.com. Sending you my love. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye.